My best friend's stepdad destroyed her self-worth, and I destroyed what was left. Maya's stepdad Rick moved in when we were 15. Within 3 months, he'd turned my confident, funny best friend into someone I barely recognized. He criticized everything. Her clothes made her look cheap. Her laugh was too loud. Her grades weren't good enough, even though she had a 3.8 gigapascals. He'd make comments at dinner about how she should eat less, then tell her she looked sick when she skipped meals. Her mom just sat there and said nothing. By junior year, Maya barely talked in class anymore. She'd flinch when Rick's truck pulled up to get her after school. But here's the thing that confused me. Despite all this, Maya suddenly had money, new clothes, expensive makeup, the latest iPhone. When I asked where she got it, she'd change the subject or say she was babysitting, but I'd known Maya since 4th grade. She hated kids. Then I noticed she was staying up until 3 or 4 a.m. on school nights. I could see her active on social media, but when I'd message her, she wouldn't respond. She'd show up to school exhausted, makeup covering dark circles, and Rick would pick her up right at 2:45 every single day like clockwork. She stopped coming to my house completely. When I went to hers, Rick would hover in the doorway of her room, arms crossed, watching us, making comments about how Maya was finally learning to take better care of herself, how she was contributing to the household now. Maya would stare at the floor and nod. One Friday, Maya asked if she could borrow my laptop because hers was broken. She left it at my house after working on a school project, still logged into her accounts. I wasn't trying to snoop, but when I opened it to charge it for her browser was still up, and I saw the tabs, dozens of them, all the same type of site, the kind where people pay to watch. Her profile was right there. Over 40,000 followers, videos going back 6 months. I felt sick, not because of what she was doing, but because I understood why. Rick had destroyed her so completely that she'd found the only way she thought she could have value, the only way she could make money and feel wanted, even if it was from strangers online. I sat there for an hour trying to decide what to do. Tell her mom? Maya's mom had never protected her before. Tell Maya I knew? She'd be humiliated. Call the police? She was 17, technically almost legal, and doing it voluntarily from what I could see. But mostly I was angry. Angry at Rick for creating this situation. Angry at her mom for allowing it. So I made a choice that I thought was right. I thought I was helping. I took screenshots of everything. Her profile, the messages from subscribers, the payment records showing she'd made over $12,000 in 6 months. And on Monday morning, I went to our school counselor, Mrs. Davis, and showed her everything. I told her about Rick's comments, about Maya's change in behavior, about how I thought she needed intervention before this got worse. Mrs. Davis thanked me for being a concerned friend, said she'd handle it appropriately and get Maya the help she needed. I thought I'd saved her, that I'd done the right thing. But by 4th period that day, Maya had been called to the office. By 5th period, her mom had been called to school. By 6th period, police were involved because someone had to verify her age and the legality of what she was doing. By the end of the day, Rick knew everything. That night, Maya sent me a single text. Then she blocked me everywhere. And what she told me in that text made me realize what I'd actually done. The rest of the story is on my channel or linked below. I stare at my phone, reading Maya's text for the 20th time, my stomach twisting into knots that grow tighter with each word. Rick didn't just destroy my self-worth. He's the one who got me started on that site. He set everything up. He keeps most of the money. And now he knows that you know. Thanks for ruining what little control I had left. My hands are shaking so badly I can barely hold my phone. I try calling her immediately, but it goes straight to voicemail. I text, email, message her on every platform we've ever used to communicate. Nothing. Complete silence. She's blocked me everywhere. The realization hits me like a physical blow. I didn't save Maya. I just made everything infinitely worse. I barely sleep that night, my mind racing with horrible possibilities of what Rick might be doing to punish her. By morning, I've convinced myself I need to check on her in person. I skip breakfast and drive straight to Maya's house, arriving just as her mom's car is pulling out of the driveway. I catch a glimpse of Maya in the passenger seat, head down, shoulders hunched. She looks smaller somehow, diminished. Her mom accelerates when she sees my car, deliberately avoiding eye contact as they speed past. I follow them at a distance, watching as they pull into the police station parking lot. My heart races as I park across the street, unsure what to do. 20 minutes later, I see Maya walk out with her mom and a female officer. Maya's face is blank, emotionless, like she's completely shut down. I can see her mom's hand gripping her arm too tightly as they return to their car. I spend the rest of the day in a fog, unable to focus on anything at school. Mrs. Davis calls me into her office during lunch. I wanted to thank you again for bringing this situation to my attention, she says, her voice professionally concerned, but her eyes bright with something that makes me uncomfortable. The authorities are handling it now. Maya will get the help she needs. What kind of help? I ask, suddenly suspicious of her enthusiasm. What exactly is happening to her? Mrs. Davis folds her hands on her desk. That's confidential, of course, but rest assured, inappropriate online activities have serious consequences. This is for her own good. The way she says inappropriate makes my skin crawl. There's judgment there, not concern. I leave her office feeling worse than when I entered. That afternoon, I drive by Maya's house again. Rick's truck is in the driveway, and the curtains are drawn. I sit there for nearly an hour, gathering courage before finally walking up to the door and ringing the bell. Rick answers, his face a mask of false concern when he sees me. Maya can't have visitors right now, he says, blocking the doorway with his body. She's been through quite an ordeal. I need to talk to her, I say, trying to keep my voice steady. Please, just for a minute. That's not possible. His voice hardens. The police have advised us to keep her away from negative influences while they investigate her. Activities. He leans forward slightly. Activities you seem to know quite a lot about. The threat in his voice is unmistakable. Behind him, I catch a glimpse of Maya's mom hovering in the hallway, arms crossed, expression cold. Tell Maya I'm sorry, I say, my voice breaking. Please just tell her that. Rick's smile doesn't reach his eyes. I'll be sure to pass that along. Now I think you should leave before I have to call someone about this harassment. The door closes in my face. Through the window, I see Rick turn to Maya's mom, his hand on her shoulder, consoling her as if they're the victims in this situation. person. I try calling Maya's phone again from my car, but it's been disconnected. Her social media accounts have all been deactivated. It's like she's been erased from the digital world overnight. The next day at school, I overhear two teachers talking in the hallway. Completely inappropriate for a girl her age. Her parents had no idea until yesterday. I heard she had thousands of followers. Can you imagine? Their voices drop when they notice me, but their expressions make it clear they're talking about Maya. Somehow, details have leaked. The rumors are already starting, but they've been twisted. No one is talking about Rick's role or questioning why a 17-year-old would suddenly start streaming. They're just focusing on what Maya did, not why she did it. I try reaching out to Maya's other friends, but they've all heard versions of the story that paint Maya as either a victim of her own poor choices or some kind of attention-seeking troublemaker. No one seems to be asking the right questions. After a week of silence, I get desperate enough to try one last thing. I write Maya a letter, an actual paper letter explaining everything I know, how sorry I am, and begging her to contact me somehow, anytime, any way she can. I mail it directly to her house, hoping Rick won't intercept it. 2 days later, it comes back unopened. Someone has written, "Return to sender, no longer at this address," across the envelope in thick black marker. I drive to Maya's house again that evening and see Rick's truck in the driveway. They haven't moved. He's lying, making sure Maya remains completely isolated. That night, I lie awake staring at the ceiling, the weight of what I've done crushing me. I thought I was rescuing my best friend. Instead, I handed her abuser the perfect excuse to cut her off from everyone who might help her. Maya was right. I destroyed what little control she had left, and now I have no idea how to fix it. The next morning, I wake up to a school-wide email announcing that Maya has withdrawn from classes to focus on her health and well-being. The carefully worded message asks students to respect her privacy during this difficult time. I know what that really means. Rick has pulled her out of school completely, cutting off her last connection to the outside world. Now she's truly alone with him, with no one to see what's happening behind closed doors. I've never felt more helpless in my life. The rumors start like wildfire. By the time I reach my locker Monday morning, the whispers follow me down the hallway. I catch fragments as I pass: streaming, online, Maya, and other words that make my stomach clench. Alyssa Chen, who sits behind me in calculus, leans forward during class. Is it true about Maya that she was like doing stuff online for money? I grip my pencil so hard it nearly snaps. It's not what you think. My cousin said she had like 40,000 followers. That's insane. The teacher glares in our direction, and I turn back to my equations. But my mind is racing. How did everyone find out so quickly? The details are warped, twisted into something salacious, but still recognizable enough that I know it came from someone with actual information. During lunch, I sit alone, scrolling through my phone, searching for any trace of Maya online. All her accounts remain deactivated. It's like she's been erased from the digital world. Miss Reynolds? I look up to see Mrs. Davis standing over me, her professional smile not reaching her eyes. Could I see you in my office for a moment? The walk to her office feels like a death march. Students watch us pass, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and judgment. Once inside, Mrs. Davis closes the door with a soft click that somehow sounds final. I've received some concerning reports, she begins, folding her hands on her desk. It seems you've been discussing Maya's situation with other students. What? No, I haven't. Several teachers have overheard conversations, details that could only have come from you. Her voice hardens. I reminded you this was a confidential matter. I didn't tell anyone anything. I insist. But somehow everyone knows anyway. They're saying horrible things about her, which is precisely why this kind of inappropriate sharing is so damaging. She leans forward. Maya's family is extremely upset. They're trying to protect her reputation during this difficult time. Protect her. I can't keep the bitterness from my voice. Rick is the one who— That's enough. Mrs. Davis cuts me off sharply. Maya's stepfather has been nothing but concerned throughout this entire situation. He's the one who alerted authorities to her inappropriate online activities once he discovered them. My jaw drops. That's not what happened. He's the one who— I understand you care about your friend, but spreading rumors about her family is only making this situation worse. Her tone shifts to something softer, more patronizing. Sometimes when we feel helpless, we look for someone to blame. I stare at her, realizing with horrible clarity that Rick has completely controlled the narrative. He's positioned himself as the concerned parent, Maya as the troubled teen, and me as the jealous friend spreading lies. Maya needs professional help right now, not rumors, Mrs. Davis continues. Her parents are doing what's best for her. I leave her office in a daze, anger and helplessness churning inside me. During last period, I overhear two teachers discussing Maya in the hallway. Complete withdrawal from school, one says. Effective immediately. Can't blame the family. The harassment has been relentless. Such a shame. She had a 3.8 gigapascals. My blood runs cold. Rick has pulled Maya out of school entirely. He's cutting off her last connection to the outside world, to anyone who might help her. That evening, I drive past Maya's house again, determined to see her somehow. There's a for sale sign in the yard that wasn't there yesterday. My heart pounds as I park across the street, watching as Rick loads boxes into his truck. I wait until he goes back inside before approaching the house. I need to see Maya, to tell her I believe her, that I'm trying to help. I'm halfway up the driveway when Maya's mom emerges from the garage. Her eyes narrow when she sees me. You need to leave, now. Please, I beg. I just want to talk to Maya for 5 minutes. Haven't you done enough? Her voice trembles with what sounds like genuine anger. Do you have any idea what you've put her through? What you've put our family through? I'm trying to help her by spreading lies about Rick, by telling everyone at school about Maya's private mistakes. She steps closer, and I can smell alcohol on her breath. We're having to move because of you. Change schools. Start over. Mrs. Hernandez, please listen. Rick is the only one who stood by Maya through all of this. Her voice rises. He's the one who discovered what she was doing and tried to get her help. And you've turned him into some kind of monster. I feel sick. That's not what happened. Get off my property before I call the police. She pulls out her phone. Actually, you know what? Don't come near my daughter again. Ever. 3 days later, I'm called to the principal's office. A police officer waits inside with a document in his hand. hand. This is a temporary restraining order, he explains, sliding it across the desk. You are not to contact Maya Hernandez or approach within 500 feet of her residence or person. I stare at the paper, my hands shaking. I don't understand. Her parents have filed this order, citing harassment and defamation. There will be a hearing in 2 weeks where you can contest it if you choose. That night, I can barely sleep. I keep thinking about the money Maya mentioned. $12,000 in 6 months. Where did it go? Rick set everything up, she said. He keeps most of the money. On a hunch, I create a new account on the streaming platform and search for any traces of Maya's old profile. It's gone, of course, but internet archives are forever. I spend hours digging through cached pages and forum discussions until I find a screenshot of her profile with a payment link. The link leads to a payment processing site with a username that isn't Maya's. It's RickH2975. He wasn't just forcing her to stream. He was collecting the money directly. I save everything I find, taking screenshots, downloading cached pages. It's not much, but it's something. Proof that Rick wasn't just an innocent stepfather discovering his stepdaughter's mistake. He was orchestrating the whole thing. The next day at school, I'm called to the principal's office again. This time, it's not a police officer waiting, but a stern-faced woman in a suit who introduces herself as the school district's attorney. We've received a formal complaint from the Hernandez family, she explains. They're alleging you've engaged in a pattern of harassment and defamation against them, particularly against Mr. Hernandez. That's not true, I protest. I'm trying to help Maya. They've provided evidence that you've been spreading rumors about Mr. Hernandez forcing Maya into inappropriate online activities. She slides a folder across the desk. These are statements from several students and teachers. I open the folder with trembling hands. Inside are typed statements from classmates claiming I told them. Rick forced Maya to stream. Some of them I've barely spoken to. At the bottom is a statement from Mrs. Davis detailing our conversations, carefully worded to make me sound obsessed and vindictive. I didn't tell these people anything, I say, my voice shaking. Someone is lying. The attorney's expression doesn't change. The family has requested that the school take disciplinary action. Given the severity of these allegations, we're considering a suspension pending investigation. I leave the office in a daze, clutching the folder. They're not just isolating Maya, they're systematically destroying anyone who might help her. Rick is covering his tracks, erasing evidence, and painting me as a jealous friend spreading vicious lies. That night, I sit at my computer, staring at the screenshots I've collected. There has to be a way to help her. There has to be someone who will listen. The local police clearly aren't an option. They've already bought Rick's version of events. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Stop digging or you'll regret it. I stare at the message, fear and determination warring inside me. Rick thinks he's won, that he's successfully isolated Maya and silenced anyone who might expose him. But he doesn't know I have proof of where the money went. He doesn't know I'm just getting started. I spend 3 days in a suspended state between panic and determination. The suspension notice sits on my desk at home, a formal letter explaining that I'm being removed from classes pending an investigation into harassment and defamation. My parents are furious not at the school, but at me. Why couldn't you just leave it alone? My mom keeps asking. This girl's problems aren't yours to fix. But they don't understand. No one does. I can't sleep knowing Maya is trapped with Rick, isolated from everyone who might help her. On Thursday night, I get a text from Jess, who used to sit with us at lunch before Maya disappeared from school. Hey, weird question. Did Maya ever mention having a backup phone? Some emergency thing? My heart races as I call Jess immediately. What do you know? I demand when she answers. Whoa, calm down, Jess says. I just remembered something. Last year, when her mom took her phone for a week, Maya showed me this cheap burner phone she kept hidden in her calculus textbook. Said Rick was such a control freak that she needed a backup plan. Do you have the number? I'm already grabbing a pen. No, but Jess hesitates. I think Zach might. They were texting on it for a while after her regular phone got taken away. Zach Miller, Maya's lab partner from chemistry. I barely know him, but suddenly he's the most important person in my life. I find him the next morning in the parking lot before school. He looks surprised when I approach, then wary. I need Maya's burner phone number, I say without preamble. It's important. He shifts uncomfortably. I heard you got suspended for spreading rumors about her. That's not what happened. She's in trouble, Zach. Real trouble. Something in my voice must convince him because he pulls out his phone and scrolls through his contacts. I haven't tried it in months, he warns. It might not even work anymore, but I'm already typing the number into my phone. My hand's shaking so badly I have to start over twice. I wait until I'm alone in my car to call. It rings 4 times, and I'm preparing myself for voicemail when there's a click. Hello? The voice is barely audible, but it's her. Maya? My voice breaks. It's me. Silence. Then a shaky breath. How did you get this number? Zach, Maya, I'm so sorry. I never meant. You can't call me again. She interrupts, her voice trembling. Rick checks everything. He has monitoring software on all our devices. The only reason I still have this is because he doesn't know it exists. What's happening? Where are you? We're moving next week. Out of state. Her voice drops even lower. He says it's to protect me from rumors, but it's really because people were asking questions about the money. The streaming money? Yeah. She pauses, and I can hear her moving, like she's going somewhere more private. He's freaking out. He told my mom you're making up lies about him, but I think she's starting to wonder. She found something on his computer. Maya, listen to me. I found proof that the money was going to his account. I have screenshots of the payment link with his username. Her breath catches. He said if I ever told anyone, he'd share the videos with my family, with everyone from school. That's blackmail and exploitation. Maya, what he's doing is illegal. You don't understand. No one will believe me. The desperation in her voice breaks my heart. Everyone thinks I'm just some troubled teen who did this for attention. I believe you, and I can prove he set it all up. There's a long pause. How? I need you to tell me everything. When it started, how he convinced you. All of it. I'm going to record this call, and then we're taking it to someone who can actually help. For the next 20 minutes, Maya tells me everything. How Rick first suggested streaming when she mentioned wanting to save her college. How he set up the account using his email. How he controlled what she wore, when she streamed and kept detailed spreadsheets of the earnings, how the game gradually escalated from innocent chatting to something that made her feel sick with shame. He kept saying it was no big deal, that girls make millions doing this, she whispers, but he took the money, all of it, said he was investing it for me. $12,000 in 6 months, I say, remembering her text. More now, she says, almost $20,000. I saw his spreadsheet last week. When she finishes, I save the recording and then outline my plan. We're not going to the local police. They already bought Rick's story. We're going to the state police, and we're reporting this as trafficking of a minor. Trafficking? Her voice sounds small. That's what this is, Maya. He coerced you into sexual content for profit. That's the legal definition. My mom will never forgive me. Your mom failed to protect you, I say firmly. That's on her, not you. We make a plan. Maya will text me when Rick leaves for his weekly poker game tomorrow night. I'll pick her up 3 blocks from her house, and we'll drive directly to the state police barracks an hour away. What if they don't believe us? She asks. They will, I promise. I've been collecting evidence for weeks. That night, I organize everything I've gathered. Screenshots of the payment account with Rick's name, cached images from Maya's streams with timestamps, the recorded call, and financial records showing transfers from the payment processor to Rick's personal account. I found those by using his username to track public transaction records, not exactly legal, but I'm past caring about that. The next day crawls by with excruciating slowness. I jump every time my phone buzzes, terrified that something has gone wrong. Finally, at 7:42 p.m., Maya texts, "He just left. Mom's in the bath now." I drive exactly at the speed limit, paranoid about getting pulled over. Maya is waiting exactly where she said she would be, a small backpack clutched to her chest, hood pulled up despite the warm evening. She looks smaller somehow, diminished by what's been happening to her. "You came?" she says as she slides into my car, like she hadn't quite believed I would. Of course I came. I reach over and squeeze her hand. "I'm so sorry I made things worse." She shakes her head. "You didn't know. And maybe it needed to get worse before it could get better." The drive to the state police barracks is tense. Maya stares out the window, occasionally checking her phone. She hasn't noticed I'm gone yet, she says, but she will soon. At the barracks, we're separated almost immediately. A female officer takes Maya to a private room while a stern-faced detective interviews me. I hand over my folder of evidence, explaining everything I've discovered. "Why didn't you bring this to local authorities?" he asks. "We tried. They believed Rick's version. He positioned himself as the concerned parent who discovered his stepdaughter's inappropriate activities, but he's the one who set it all up. He's the one collecting the money." The detective's expression doesn't change as he examines the financial records. "And you obtained these? How?" I hesitate. "The internet is forever, if you know where to look." He gives me a long look, but doesn't press further. "Wait here," he says, taking the folder. I sit alone in the interview room for what feels like hours. My phone buzzes repeatedly with texts from Maya's mom, then Rick. They've realized she's missing. They're threatening to call the police. The irony would be funny if I weren't so terrified. Finally, the detective returns with a woman in a blazer who introduces herself as a representative from the district attorney's office. "We're going to need formal statements from both of you," she says, "but based on the evidence you've provided and Maya's testimony, we have enough to open an investigation." "What happens now?" I ask. "We've already dispatched officers to the Hernandez residence with a search warrant. If what you've told us checks out, Mr. Hernandez will be taken into custody tonight." It's nearly midnight when they finally let us leave. Maya has been assigned a social worker and temporary housing while the investigation proceeds. As we stand in the parking lot, she hugs me fiercely. "Thank you for not giving up on me," she whispers. "Never, I promise. Not ever." 2 days later, the news breaks. Local businessman Richard Hernandez arrested on multiple charges, including sexual exploitation of a minor, trafficking, and financial crimes. The school district places Mrs. Davis on administrative leave pending investigation into her failure to report suspected abuse. Maya's mom faces her own legal troubles for enabling the abuse, though Maya tells me she thinks her mom was manipulated too, just not enough to excuse her inaction. It's far from over. Maya has a long road ahead with statements and possibly a trial, but for the first time in months, she's safe. And for the first time since that terrible night when I got her text, I feel like I can breathe again. I didn't destroy what was left of Maya's self-worth after all. I helped her reclaim it. 2 weeks after Rick's arrest, I'm sitting in a small waiting room at the state police barracks, my leg bouncing nervously as I wait for Maya to finish giving her latest statement. This has become our routine. Maya testifying about details I can't even imagine, while I wait to drive her back to the temporary housing where she's staying with a foster family approved by Child Protective Services. The door opens and Maya emerges, looking exhausted but somehow lighter than when she went in. Each time she tells her story, it seems to take less of a toll on her. "They found the spreadsheets," she says quietly as we walk to my car. "All of them. Rick had everything documented. Followers, earnings, even which outfits got the most tips." Her voice catches slightly, but she keeps walking, head high. The prosecutor says it's basically a confession. I squeeze her hand. "That's good, right? Less pressure on you to testify?" "Maybe." She stares out the window as we drive. "They're still building the case against my mom. They want me to testify against her too." The thought of Maya having to face her mother in court makes my stomach twist. Her mom failed her in every way possible, but I know Maya still loves her. That's the cruelest part of all this. The people who were supposed to protect her are the ones who hurt her most. "How do you feel about that?" I ask carefully. Maya shrugs, picking at a loose thread on her sleeve, conflicted. She knew what was happening. Maybe not everything, but enough. She chose him over me every single time. She pauses, then adds, "But she's still my mom." We drive in silence for a few minutes before Maya speaks again. "Mrs. Davis got fired yesterday. It's official now." I grip the steering wheel tighter. "Good. She should have been your advocate, not Rick's. The school board reviewed all her case files," Maya continues. "Turns out I wasn't the first student she failed. There were at least 3 other cases where she ignored obvious warning signs of abuse. I think about how Mrs. Davis dismissed my concerns, how she treated Maya like she was the problem instead of the victim. How different things might have been if she'd actually done her job. They're implementing new mandatory reporting training for all staff, Maya says, and creating an anonymous reporting system that bypasses school counselors entirely. Too late for you, I say bitterly, but maybe not for someone else. Maya's voice is soft but determined. That's something, at least. When we arrive at her foster home, Mrs. Chen greets us at the door with her usual warm smile. She's in her 50s, with kind eyes and a no-nonsense attitude that somehow makes Maya feel safe without feeling pitied. Your trauma counselor called, she tells Maya. She can see you tomorrow at 4 instead of Friday if that works better. Maya nods. Thanks. I'd rather get it over with before the weekend. Inside, Maya's temporary room is slowly becoming more personalized. A few books on the nightstand, a plant I brought her last week, a bulletin board where she's pinned college brochures. She's starting to look forward again, even if it's just in small ways. My caseworker says I might be able to get early admission to state for the spring semester, she tells me as we sit on her bed. They have special circumstances provisions for situations like, well, like mine. That's amazing, Maya. I smile, genuinely happy for the first time in days. Your GPA is still 3.8, right? They'd be lucky to have you. 3.7 now, she corrects with a small grimace. Hard to maintain perfect grades when your stepdad is trafficking you online. The bluntness of her statement shocks me, but then Maya does something I haven't seen in months. She laughs. It's a small, broken sound, but it's real. Sorry, she says, seeing my expression. My counselor says dark humor is a coping mechanism. Apparently, I'm getting really good at coping. We spend the next hour looking at college websites, talking about majors and dorms and meal plans like normal teenagers. For a little while, we can pretend that's all we are. As I'm getting ready to leave, Maya suddenly grabs my hand. I never actually said thank you, she says, for believing me when no one else did, for not giving up. You don't have to thank me, I say, my throat tight. I'm the one who made everything worse in the first place. Maya shakes her head firmly. No, you didn't. You just accelerated what was eventually going to happen anyway. Rick was getting greedier, making me do more. Extreme things for more money. It was only going to get worse. She takes a deep breath. If you hadn't found out, I might still be there, still doing whatever he wanted because I was too scared to stop. I should have handled it better, I insist. I should have talked to you first instead of going to Mrs. Davis. Maybe, Maya concedes, but you were trying to help, and in the end, you did. She smiles slightly. We're both learning that good intentions don't always lead to good outcomes, but sometimes they do, eventually. The following week brings more developments. The district attorney calls a meeting with Maya and her legal advocate to discuss the case against her mother. I wait outside again, scrolling through news articles about Rick's arrest. The story has spread beyond our community, becoming part of a larger conversation about online exploitation and trafficking. Rick's name and face are everywhere, while Maya remains protected as a minor victim. When she emerges from the meeting, Maya's expression is complicated, relief mixed with grief. My mom took a plea deal, she says as we walk to the car. Reduced charges in exchange for testifying against Rick. She's still going to serve time, but not as much. How do you feel about that? Maya considers the question carefully. Relieved, mostly. I didn't want to testify against her. She pauses. The prosecutor showed me her statement. She admitted knowing about the streaming, but claims she thought it was just gaming videos. Maya's laugh is bitter. As if she couldn't figure out why gaming videos would earn $20,000 in less than a year. She chose to believe what was convenient, I say quietly. Yeah, Maya stares out the window. She also said she was afraid of Rick, that he controlled all the money, made all the decisions. Maybe that's true, but she trails off, shaking her head. She was supposed to protect me. As spring approaches, Maya's case moves forward while she focuses on rebuilding her life. She starts taking online classes to prepare for college, meets weekly with her trauma counselor, and slowly reconnects with a few carefully chosen friends from before everything fell apart. One afternoon in April, we're sitting in a coffee shop, our first real public outing since everything happened. When Maya looks up from her laptop with a determined expression, I want to tell my story, she says. Not now, but someday, to help other girls recognize when they're being manipulated. I nod, understanding completely. When you're ready, I'll help however I can. She reaches across the table and squeezes my hand. You already have. It's not a perfect ending. Maya still has nightmares. There are still days when she can't get out of bed, when the weight of everything that happened crushes her. The legal process drags on, forcing her to relive the worst moments of her life over and over. But there are also days like today, sitting in a coffee shop, planning for the future, laughing at stupid jokes, when I can see glimpses of the Maya who existed before Rick systematically destroyed her self-worth. She's still there, rebuilding herself piece by piece, stronger at the broken places. And I'm still here too, learning that sometimes saving someone means simply standing beside them while they save themselves.